Hi, I'm Ino Iroha with Net Security. Threat Responder is a threat detection, prevention, and response platform. One of the other capabilities of the technology is the ability to perform detailed user behavior analytics or UBA. To conduct user behavior analytics operation, once you log onto the platform, all you have to do is to basically, from the dashboard, navigate to the user behavior analytics button. Once you select that, you are presented with the user behavior analytics dashboard. So from here, you have options to select the number of days that you want to go back, you want to investigate, right? Or you want to review. In this case, you have options for today, the last 7 days, the last 30 days, or even some custom range. So the results within that period is rendered to you. Once you've selected, in our case, we'll select 30 days. So we want to understand what is it that users are doing across my enterprise within the last 30 days, right? So from the dashboard, you can gain insight into noteworthy items. For example, who are the most active users, right? So this user is more active than this, and this is more active than this. You also have the option to look at the most used applications, right? So you may be interested. What applications are people using the most? Is it Chrome? Is it some other custom application? Is it YouTube or Skype? Right? So you get insight into what users are using within the enterprise, and you can take necessary action, right? If your policy prevents certain applications from being used within your organizations, you have the ability to basically implement mitigation steps to prevent further use of those applications. Threat Responder also gives you the ability to review inbound traffic by user, as well as outbound traffic by user, right? So all of a sudden, let's say your network utilization is spiking up, or internet is crawling to a standstill. Threat Responder gives you insight into what users, what user is using the most, consuming the most bandwidth, or using the most resources to for their own personal or even business interest. Threat Responder also allow you to gain insight into the web pages that are most used, as well as the time, right? We also give you the ability to look at the most accessed web page. Another thing that may be of interest to you is to basically hone in on activities in your enterprise, right? So here we'll click on monitoring, the monitoring tab, and from there we can select which applications or which activity we are interested in analyzing, right? So we have different options like applications, web pages, console commands, email, web searches, printing operations, and so on and so forth, right? So for now, I am going to select email, right? So let's say I want to know who is using email within my organization. I have the ability to do that. To do that, all I have to do is to select email, and over the period of 30 days, it tells me the emails that have been sent by different users, including the timestamp, the username, the endpoint in question, the type of email, whether it's sent, received, forward, and the email client, right? I have insight into that information, and I also know the sender or the address that email targets, as well as the subject of the email, right? The other thing I can do is, if you look at each one of these entry, there is there's an item which is a screenshot, right? So Threat Responder also capture the screenshot of a particular activity, email activity, for example, right? So in this case, I'll select this, I'll select the screenshot, and it gives me the screenshot of that email at that point in time. Also, I have the ability to click on the email button. When I click that, it tells me the actual email, the subject, the attachment, if any, and the body of that email that was actually sent. So a user will not be able to refute the fact that, oh, I didn't send that email, it wasn't me, right? So they are caught, or you have the irrefutable evidence that you need to launch further investigation or employee training, or or awareness education. Another thing we may be interested in doing is to look at all the print operations, right? To do that again, we'll click on monitoring and then select the print option. And this will provide me access or a listing of all the users, all the print activities, including the username, the endpoint in which the email the printing was performed, the document name, and the printer name, right? So let's select the second one, the Canon printer, right? So if I select the screenshot, it tells me now printing, so that this document was actually clearly being printed, right? Again, this is a screenshot, so a user cannot refute the fact that they did the printing. This is a screenshot of the user. Another thing that may be of interest is that Threat Responder actually detected that this is a sensitive document that was being leaked. Either because it was defined by corporate policy that a particular file or a particular file that has certain content are deemed to be sensitive to the organization, right? So when that occurs based on your rule definition, which we'll see very soon, you have a notification telling you that sensitive data is being leaked through printing. Another thing we may be interested in is to again see another print option. As always, as usual, we were able to identify that this is a print operation of sensitive document that is potentially being leaked through printing and other exfiltration vectors. Let's take a look at web searches, right? So over the past 30 days, we have the ability to sweep through the enterprise and see what users are searching, right? What is out there? What are users searching for on the internet? And what are they using, right? So it tells me the time, the point in time, the user in question, the endpoint, and the process that is used to do the web searching. It could be Chrome, it could be Firefox, it could be Edge, it could be Safari, what have you, right? And it tells me the phrases that were being searched on the internet. Another thing I may be interested in is timeline of activity. So I can select a user and I can specify a category, right? So for example, I can select a user and say, hey, for this user, Paul, I want to be able to know what application they accessed or used, what web page they went to, what command they executed, printing, documents they printed, and so on and so forth. Another thing that I may be interested in is to look at the alerts, right? Alerts, you can define rules that basically will notify you when the rule is triggered, right? So you have the option to do that. Also, settings is very critical, right? So this is where you define, because you don't want to monitor or analyze all activities, right? So it may be that you're interested in applications or commands. So all of this you can toggle on and off, all of each one of this. You may be interested in printing or web searches or keystrokes or login or network activity. You have the ability to do that, right? So you don't have to necessarily do screenshots, right? But you have the ability to do that. So Threat Responder really allows you to do user behavior analytics, to understand what users are doing in your environment. And by default, the behavior analytics module is disabled, right? So some of these capabilities are disabled by default, but if your license allows it, you have the ability to perform behavior analytics or DLP and so on and so forth. So I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation or watch this video. And I want to encourage you to get a copy of Threat Responder demo so you can explore the capabilities and use cases and protect your enterprise. Thank you.